All right, so polar coordinates. Up until now, you have graphed on a rectangular plane called a Cartesian coordinate system containing an x-axis and a y-axis. Now we're going to look at another system called the polar coordinate system. So to form the polar coordinate system, we fix a point, O, called the pole or origin. From O, we're going to construct an initial ray called the polar axis. So here's O, the pole or the origin. Here's our polar axis, and then each point P in the plane is assigned a polar coordinate r, comma, theta. So r is the directed distance from O to P, and then theta is the counterclockwise directed angle formed by the polar axis and the segment OP. When r is negative, we graph the point r, comma, theta plus pi. So if r is a negative value, it just shifts us into a different quadrant on our graph. We add on that 180 degrees or pi radians. So concentric circles are frequently shown on the polar coordinate system. We're going to graph and label each point on the polar grid below. So we're going to plot polar coordinates. So we're going to go 3 units out on a 60-degree angle. So, we always start from here. So remember that 60 degrees is the same as pi thirds. So right here is 60 degrees. And we're supposed to go 3 units. And if we look down here, every circle is 1 unit out. So here's our 3. So we're going to plot it right here. 3 units out on a 60-degree angle. So that's number 1. Number 2 says -4, 3 pi over 4. Okay, so 3 pi over 4 is going to be right here. And if we want to go negative, we just go from there down this direction, and we go 4 units. So we're going to plot it right here. So rather than 3 pi over 4, if we add pi to that, pi would be 4 pi over 4. We get 7 pi over 4, which is why it ended up down here rather than here. All right, so number 3, we've got 3 and -150 degrees. So -150 degrees means start from here, and that's a 30-degree reference angle from pi. So if we go 30 degrees, we're at 7 pi over 6. So here, and again, 3 units out. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to put it right here. Sorry about that. Hit the wrong thing there. Number 3 for us. If we have -5 and -7 pi over 6, well, -7 pi over 6 means to go clockwise beyond pi a sixth, so right here. But then -5 means we're going to send it back over here 5 units, so we're going to end up right here. Because again, when you have a negative here, you're going to add pi to this. So -7 pi over 6 plus pi, which would be 6 pi over 6, gives us -pi 6. So because it's a negative, we're going clockwise. And so from here, pi 6 over 11 pi over 6. So we're on this one, and 5 units was right there. So there was number 4. All right, number 5, we've got 2 and 120 degrees. So 120 degrees, remember, is a 60-degree reference angle. So right here is 120 degrees. And we're going 2 units out. So we're just right here for number 5. Number 6 says -3, 225. So 225 is 45 degrees away from pi. So it is right here. Right here is 225 degrees. But because it's -3, we go out here. So it's actually going to be right here. Because again, when we've got a negative for our modulus, we are going to add pi to this. So 225 plus pi, which is 180 degrees, we will get 305 degrees. Oop, forgot to carry my 1. Sorry, I knew that was wrong. I'm just checking my math there. Let's try that math again. So 5 plus 0 is 5. 2 plus 8 is 10. So I gotta carry my 1. So I get 405 degrees. And if we subtract the 360 from that, we get 45 degrees, which is why we were here in quadrant 1 at 45 degrees. So when it's a negative, if you find the angle that you're on, just travel through the origin to the other side of it, and that's where you're going to end up plotting it. All right, so name the following points using 2 names. So a positive R value and a negative R value. So letter G is right here. So this is pi 6, and so half of that, you've got pi 12ths, 2 pi 12ths, 3 pi 12ths, 4 pi 12ths, 5 pi 12ths, 6 pi 12ths. If we figure out what each of those are. So this is pi 12ths, because it was half of that pi 6. All right, so pi 12ths is going to be our theta, and then it is out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 comma pi 12ths. Or if we say it as -5 and 13 pi over 12, that would also work, because if we take this and add pi to it, you're going to get 25 pi over 12, which would be the equivalent of pi 12ths. Take us back over there. Or if we subtract pi from it, you get pi 12ths, either way. All right, so letter H, so we're all the way out at 6, and we're up there at 5 pi over 12. So 6 comma 5 pi over 12, because remember, each of these is pi 12ths. This would be the equivalent of 2 pi 12ths. This is pi 4ths, which equals 3 pi over 12. This is 4 pi over 12, which reduces to pi 3rds. And then this is 5 pi over 12. This would be 6 pi over 12, but it reduced to the pi halves, and so on. So the other way to say that, with a negative, -6, and if I add on pi, I get 17 pi over 12 as my other option there. All right, so letter J, if we take a look at this point, so 1, 2, 3, disconnect that a minute. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 units out. And the argument there, the angle is 5 pi over 6. Or if we make it -5, so we've got to come over and see what this one is. So 11 pi over 6. Or again, just add pi. So 5 pi plus 6 pi gives us 11 pi over 6 to get that. All right, so letter K, we are 2 units out, and we are at pi radians. Or we could say -2 and 0, or 2 pi. All right, letter L. 1, 2, 3. So we're 3 units out, and we're at the 270 degrees, or 3 pi over 2. Or it could be -3 and pi halves if I subtract pi. So 3 pi over 2 minus 2 pi over 2 gives me 1 pi over 2. M, we're 4 units out, and we are at, so remember we're counting by 12, so this is 11 pi over 6, which would have been 22 pi over 12, and so this will be 23 pi over 12. So we're 4 units out at 23 pi over 12. Or if we make it in terms of negative, so if I subtract pi from that, that'd be 12 pi over 12. So we'll get 11 pi over 12. It'd be over here at the fork, so it would be right there. And then negative would send us over there. All right, so N, right here, we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units out, and we're at 7 pi 6 for our argument, or -6, and if I subtract pi, so 7 pi over 6 minus 6 pi over 6 gives us pi 6. So remember, the difference between these two would always be pi. When you make it the negative, just subtract pi to come up with the other value, or you can add pi. Either way would work, depending on where you are. And so you're always just sliding to the other side through the origin.